Orphan to national hero, the life journey of Milkha Singh. Few names in Indian sports evoke as much admiration, respect and inspiration as Milkha Singh, fondly remembered as a Flying Sikh. His life was not merely about running fast. It was a tale of resilience, survival, determination and refusal to surrender to life's harshest challenges, right? From witnessing the horror of partition, as a young boy becoming an orphan in one of the boldest episodes of modern history, to standing tall as a global sporting legend. Milkha Singh's journey embodies the triumph of the human spirit. His story is just not about medals and records. It is about how sheer willpower can transform an ordinary individuals into a legend for millions of Indians, especially those who dare to dream despite adversity. Milkha Singh remains a timeless inspiration. Early life and childhood struggles. Milkha Singh was born on 20th of November 1929 in Govindpura village, right? Then part of Pakistan's Punjab advice. Here he belonged to a simple Sikh family. Farmer life in rural Punjab was totally modest, right? Revolving around farming, family and traditions. However, fate had reversed something extraordinary and unimaginably painful for young Milkha. The partition horror. Here the year 1947 changed everything, right? When India gained independence, the subcontinent was torn apart by the partition, leading to one of the most tragic mass migration in human history, right? So Milkha, barely a teenager, witnessed brutal communal riots, right, that claimed the lives of most of his family. Here in his autobiography, he recalled the nightmarish vision of his father, shooting. His father shooting Bhaag, Milkha Bhaag, run, Milkha run, right, as rioters attacked their family. Those words here, you told moments before his father's death, become etched in his memory and later turned into a symbolic phrase that defined his career. The young boy barely escaped the carnage and arrived in India as a refugee, orphaned and traumatized. He had no family, no money, no direction, only scars of grief and survival. Life as a refugee, arriving in Delhi, Milkha Singh joined thousands of displaced, refugees here struggling to build a new life in makeshift camps, right? Okay, so hunger and poverty were his constant companions. He even contemplated joining a life of crime, often stealing to survive. In his own words, he admitted, "I was aimless, angry and full of despair. I had lost everything. However, destiny had, other plans." Slowly he began to discover a new sense of purpose. Here, discovery of running. Milkha Singh initially tried a lot his hand at different jobs to sustain himself. He briefly worked as a cleaner in a shop and later applied for the army. He failed multiple times in the recruitment process before finally being selected in 1951. It was in the family. It was in the family. It was in the family that his natural talent for running was discovered. During cross country race, Milkha Singh almost here by instinct outpaced many of his peers. His superiors noticed his raw speed and encouraged how to train seriously. This was the turning point. The boy who once run for his life during partition now began running with discipline, ambition and dreams. So here, training and discipline. Here Milkha Singh was known for his relentless training regiment, right? So here he would practice for hours, often running barefoot on the hot sands of Punjab and on rough tracks, right? He believed in pushing his body to its absolute limits. His dedication paid off quickly. He began winning races in army and soon entered national level competition. His rise was meteoric, right? So a national recognition here, by mid 1950s, Milkha Singh had become India's most promising sprinter, right? He represented India in 1956 Melbourne Olympics. Through he didn't win a medal, at the experience exposed him to international standards and motivated him further. He continued training with fierce determination. His mantra was simple, that hard work, dedication and never give up is the actual remedy and actual condition what we actually trying to face, and will gonna be the best consequences what we want. But if we don't hard work, dedicate, if we lack the dedications, and obviously if we give up, then obviously we can't get it right. So the golden era of Milkha Singh here, Asian Games success. Milkha Singh golden run began at the 1958 Asian Games held in Tokyo, where he won two gold medals, one in the 200 meters and another in the 400 meters. His speed and stamina his speed and stamina stunned the world, right? And he became India's first track and field superstar, right? So Commonwealth Games glory here. The same year he created history by winning the gold medal in 1440 yards race, right? In 1958 here, British Empire and Commonwealth Games in Cardiff. This victory was monumental because he became the first Indian athlete ever to win a gold at the Commonwealth Games in track and field. For a nation still finding its identity after independence, Milkha Singh's victories brought immense pride and hope. He became a household name, a symbol of possibility for young India. So in 1960 Rome Olympics, the defining race here. Perhaps the most defining and heartbreaking moment of Milkha Singh's career came at 1960 Rome Olympics. Competing in 400-meter final, Milkha was one of the favorites. He led the race until the final stretch, but slowed down slightly, racing back to check his competitors, a mistake that cost him dearly, right? So he finished fourth, missing the bronze by whisker of 0.1 second. India mourned the loss. For Milkha Singh, it was devastating, right? So he locked himself in a room for days, refusing to eat or meet anyone else, right? So at here, the Rome Olympic also made him legend, because despite not winning a medal, his performance set national record that stood for nearly 40 years, right? His story became one of courage, heartbreak and pride. Even in defeat, he won the hearts of millions, right? So here the title of Flying Sikh, how it came, after the Rome Olympic, Milkha Singh competed in Pakistan in 1960, right? In a highly symbolic race, against the country's best sprinter, Abdul Khaliq. Milkha won convincingly. So here, Pakistan President, General Ayub Khan, so impressed by his speed, famously remarked, "You came to Pakistan and did not run. You flew. From today, you are the Flying Sikh." The title stuck, and Milkha Singh became immortalized as the Flying Sikh, right? So their later career and achievements, Milkha Singh continued to represent India with distinction. In 1962 Asian Games, won gold medal in both 400 meters and 4x 400 meters relay. Right, so competed in 3 Olympics games, 1956 Melbourne, and 1960 Rome, and 1964 Tokyo. Set numerous national records, inspiring generation, of athletes. So by mid 1960s, he retired from competitive athletics, but his influence only grew stronger. Beyond athletes here, after retiring, Milkha Singh served as the director of sports in Punjab. He dedicated his life. He was totally dedicated his life to nurturing young talent and spreading the message of discipline, hard work and perseverance, right? So he also became an inspirational figure in schools, college and sports academics, right? So here often sharing his journey from an orphan refugee to an international sports icon. So personal life here, Milkha Singh married Nirmal Kaur, right, former captain of the Indian women's volleyball team. Together they raised a family, including their son Jeev Milkha Singh, who actually went on to become one of professional golfer. Their home was a hub of sportsmanship and inspiration. Despite fame, Milkha Singh lived a simple, disciplined life, never forgetting his humble beginnings. So legacy and impact here, that Milkha Singh legacy is far greater than medals he symbolized. So resilience here, that rising from the ashes of partition tragedy, right? Disciplined here, relentless training and hard work. Inspiration here, showing that even an orphan refugee can touch the skis. National pride here, making India's name shine in the world athletics, right? So here his life was later immortalized in the Bollywood biopic Bhaag Milkha Bhaag 2013, starring here Farhan Akhtar, right? The film introduced his story to a new generation and reignited admiration for his extraordinary journey. So the final year and passing here in 2021, during COVID-19 pandemic, Milkha Singh contracted the virus, totally. Despite medical care, he passed away on 18th June 2021, just days after his wife Nirmal Kaur's death. Okay, the entire nation mourned the loss. Tributes poured in from across the world, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling him a colossal sports person, who captured the nation's imaginations, right? So lesson from Milkha Singh life is what? Milkha Singh's life teaches us timeless lessons. Adversity is not the end. Even an orphan refugees can become national heroes. Hard work beats talent. His dedication made him a global icon. Never give up, even after Rome Olympics. Hard work, even after Rome Olympics heartbreak, he continued to inspire. Humility and simplicity here, despite global fame, he lived in a grounded life. Right, he lived a grounded life. Legacy matters here. His journey continues to inspire generation long after his passing. So the conclusion of the point is what? Milkha Singh's story is not one of the most powerful narrative of courage, right, resilience and inspiration in modern days, in modern India, right? So from an orphan running for survival, to national hero known as the Flying Sikh, his journey embodies the spirit of a man who refused to bow down to fate. For millions, he remained not just a sportsman but a symbol of what is possible when determination meets destiny. His life will forever echo in the words, shouted by his father during partition. So Bhaag Milkha Bhaag word that carried him from tragedy to triumph, from despair to eternal glory. So yeah.